The night before my wedding, my fiancé told me he couldn't text. His mother said I wasn't built to carry the Harrington name. I was still in my dress when he said it. But let me back up, because none of this makes sense without knowing where I started. If you have ever been a woman who felt like you were auditioning for a family, you were never going to be accepted into, this one is for you. Seriously. Pull up a chair. Because my name is Piper Sullivan, and 2 years after I was left humiliated in a half-zipped wedding gown, I walked into that same family's corporate headquarters as their new department head. And I did not raise my voice once. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Humidity thick enough to curl your hair before 9 a.m. Church bells on Sundays, front porches with white rocking chairs. My dad was a firefighter. My mom was a nurse who smelled faintly of peppermint gum and hand sanitizer. We weren't flashy, but we were steady, and I liked steady. I went into data science because I liked patterns. I liked answers. I liked when things made sense. Then I met Evan Harrington. He was polished in a way that made you sit up straighter without realizing it. Navy blazer, easy smile, that soft southern charm that feels like a warm blanket until you realize it's actually a leash. We met at a tech consulting mixer downtown. I was there for the free wine. He was there because his family owned half the commercial real estate in the city, and they were expanding into analytics. He asked what I did. I told him. He said, "So you're the brains in the room." And I laughed. Because when a man says it like that, you don't hear the warning. His family was established. Old money Charlotte. Country club Christmas portraits. Monogrammed everything. They had this unspoken but very real tradition. Harrington women didn't work in high-powered careers. They chaired charity boards. They hosted. They supported. Evan told me that like it was cute. They just liked tradition, he said one night, brushing my hair behind my ear. It's not a big deal, but it was. Because the first time I had dinner at their house, white columns, crystal glasses so thin I was scared to touch them, his mother, Rose Harrington, asked me, "So Piper, once you start having children, do you see yourself stepping back from the numbers?" The way she said the numbers, like it was a hobby, like Sudoku. I smiled. "I see myself leading a team within 5 years." Her lips tightened, just slightly. Across the table sat Evan's sister, Claire, and her daughter, Lily. Lily was 8 then. Big brown eyes, gap-toothed smile. She leaned over and whispered, "Are you going to be my aunt?" I whispered back, "I hope so." That was the first time she squeezed my hand. I didn't realize she'd become the reason I finally stopped swallowing my pride. The months leading up to the wedding were layered. That's the only way I can describe it. On the surface, everything looked beautiful. Venue booked. An old restored estate outside the city. Gardenias everywhere. I can still smell them when I close my eyes. But underneath, Rose had opinions about everything. The guest list. The dress. The fact that I wasn't changing my last name immediately because I had published research under Sullivan. That one she really didn't like. "You're joining a legacy," she told me one afternoon while we were addressing invitations in her sunroom. "It's important to signal unity." Unity. I remember thinking, funny how unity always seems to mean the woman erasing something. Drop a comment if you've ever been told to shrink yourself in the name of tradition. Because that word can do damage. 3 months before the wedding, I landed the biggest project of my career, a predictive analytics model for a regional hospital network. I had been building it quietly for almost a year. Late nights, takeout containers, code running at 2 a.m., the kind of work no one sees until it works. The night I got the confirmation email, I printed it out. I was so proud I was shaking. I brought it to Sunday dinner at the Harringtons. I thought maybe they'd finally see me. After dessert, I pulled it from my bag. I just got confirmation. The hospital network approved my model. It's a full implementation. Claire smiled politely. Evan said, "That's amazing, babe." Rose glanced at the paper. Didn't take it. Didn't read it. "Well," she said, sipping her coffee, "just don't let it interfere with wedding planning. These months go by so quickly." That was it. Later that evening, I went to grab the printout from the side table where I'd set it down. It was gone. I found it in the kitchen trash. Crumpled. Coffee grounds on the corner. Rose was at the sink. "Oh," she said lightly when she saw it in my hand. "I thought it was scrap." Scrap. I stood there with my year of work smeared in coffee, and I said nothing. Because I loved her son. The night before the wedding, my bridesmaids were in the suite. There was music, hairspray hanging in the air. My dress was zipped halfway up, lace sleeves. I felt beautiful. Nervous, but beautiful. Evan texted, "Can we talk?" He came in pale, hands shaking. "My mom thinks we're moving too fast." Too fast. After a year-long engagement, she thinks, "You're not ready to prioritize the family." There it was. I stared at him. "Do you think that?" Silence. Sometimes silence is the loudest answer. She said, "If we do this, I'm choosing a different life than the one I was raised for." And there it was. He wasn't choosing me. He was choosing comfort. He left me standing there, half in a wedding dress that suddenly felt like a costume. Have you ever had a moment where your entire future collapses in under 60 seconds? Like the floor just gives? Tell me I'm not the only one. The next morning, instead of walking down an aisle, I walked out of that venue alone. Guests were being called. My mom held my hand so tight it hurt. My dad's jaw was clenched so hard I thought his teeth might crack. Lily ran up to me in her little pale pink dress. "Aunt Piper, why are you crying?" I knelt down, my mascara probably terrifying. "Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes," I said softly. She hugged me anyway. That was the last time I stepped foot on Harrington property for 2 years. The humiliation was suffocating. People whisper, "Charlotte is not that big." I took a leave from work for a month because I couldn't stand the idea of anyone looking at me with pity. And then one night, sitting on my apartment floor surrounded by unopened wedding gifts, I made a decision. If they thought I wasn't built for their name, fine. I'd build my own. I threw myself into work like it was oxygen. I accepted a position with a healthcare analytics firm based in Raleigh. Bigger market, less gossip. I moved quietly. No dramatic goodbye posts. Just packed my life into boxes and left. The first year was brutal. I worked 12-hour days, learned new systems, took certification exams on weekends. There were nights I cried into my keyboard, nights I almost texted Evan, but I didn't. Instead, I built. I led a pilot team, then a department initiative. Then I proposed a restructuring of our data governance model that saved the company 7 figures. Quietly. No coffee ground trash cans. Lily would FaceTime me sometimes from Claire's phone. Claire and I had always been cordial. After the wedding collapsed, she reached out once. "I'm sorry for how it happened." That was it. On FaceTime, Lily would ask, "Are you still going to be a data boss?" I'd laugh. Something like that. When she was 10, she told me, "Grandma says when I grow up, I should marry someone important, so I don't have to work so hard." I felt something cold settle in my chest. "What do you want?" I asked her. She shrugged. "I like math." Second appearance. The tradition was already circling her. 2 years after the wedding, that wasn't. My CEO called me into his office. "We've acquired a new corporate client in Charlotte," he said. "Large family-owned property group, expanding into healthcare real estate. They need a full analytics overhaul. I want you to head the department integration." He slid the folder across the desk. "Harrington Holdings." I almost laughed. You ever feel like the universe hands you a moment and just waits? I didn't tell him my history. I didn't need to. Business is business. But I made one request: full structural authority over the analytics division. Hiring, budgeting, reporting lines. In writing, he agreed. That was the structural move. Signed. Filed. Irreversible. The morning I walked into Harrington Holdings as the new director of data strategy, the lobby smelled the same. Lemon polish and expensive cologne. Rose was waiting in the conference room with the executive team. She looked older, smaller somehow. Evan was there too. He froze when I walked in. "Good morning," I said calmly. "I'm Piper Sullivan. I'll be overseeing the department transition." "Not Harrington. Sullivan." I saw Rose's eyes flick to my left hand. "Bear." We sat. I presented the inefficiencies in their current system, the revenue leakage, the outdated reporting structures. I spoke clearly, no tremble. Evan tried to interject at one point. I held up a hand. "I'll address questions at the end." All silence. That was the beginning. But the real moment, the one I want to sit in slowly, happened 3 weeks later. They had cleared out an office for me. Corner, floor-to-ceiling windows, same hallway where, 2 years earlier, I had walked in carrying wedding invitations for a tour Evan insisted I take. I was reviewing hiring files when there was a knock. Soft. Lily, now 12, taller, still those big eyes. "Aunt Piper?" she said, unsure. I smiled. "Hey, you." She stepped inside like she was crossing a line. "Grandma says you work for us now." I tilted my head. "I work with you." She looked around the office. It's big. Yeah, she hesitated. Then, Grandma told Mom that if I focus too much on math and science, boys won't like me. There it was. Third appearance. Breaking point. I felt every swallowed comment, every crumpled paper, every half-zipped dress rush back. I knelt in front of her, same way I had 2 years ago. Lily, I said gently, do you know what this room is? She shook her head. It's mine. I earned it. With math, and science, and working really hard, and anyone who is scared of that isn't someone you shrink for. Her eyes filled with tears. So I can like math? You can love it. She hugged me, tight, and in that hug, I made a decision. The next executive board meeting, I proposed a scholarship initiative under Harrington Holdings' new healthcare expansion, funding STEM programs for girls in Charlotte public schools. Full budget allocation already built into the restructuring plan. Tax benefits outlined. Public relations advantages detailed. Irrefutable. Rose tried to object. Is that aligned with our brand? I met her gaze. It is now. The board voted. Unanimous approval. Because numbers don't care about tradition. After the meeting, Rose approached me in the hallway. You've made your point, she said quietly. I looked at her. Truly looked at her. Not as the villain of my almost wedding, but as a woman who had built her identity around shrinking. This was never about a point, I said. It was about capacity. She didn't respond. That evening, as I was packing up, Evan came to my door. I made a mistake, he said. I believed him, but growth doesn't rewind. I hope you learn from it, I replied, and I closed the door. On my desk sits a small framed object. It's wrinkled. Faint brown stain in the corner. The original printout of my hospital network model. I dug it out of the trash that night, smoothed it, kept it, not as a reminder of humiliation, but as proof. Proof that what someone calls scrap can build an empire. If you're watching this and you've ever been told you're too ambitious, too driven, too much, I need you to hear me. The right rooms will expand for you. And sometimes you don't get revenge by tearing anyone down. You get it by outgrowing the cage they built for you. If this story felt like it was written for you at 1 a.m. on your kitchen floor, subscribe to Her Untold Revenge and share this with a woman who needs to remember that her name, her own name, is more than enough.